It is my great pleasure to introduce Kevin Simmons, and I'll let him introduce his other folks he has for today. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you, Tom. Can everyone hear us okay?
Yes.
Sounds great.
Yes.
Thank you. It's a real privilege for us to be here today. I have 6 students with me to share our presentation. They are middle school students and 1 10th grader, and they're from Tampa, Naples, Palm Beach Gardens, Martin County, and we have one of our students from Illinois. So our Wolfpack CubeSat team was founded to literally prove that something that university students had done prior could be done by middle school students. So today we're really privileged to share with you our program, and I employ a philosophy called Blue Sky Learning, which for you that may be familiar with the growth mindset, it's really the growth mindset on steroids. A 12-year-old does not know why they should not be able to build a satellite. So we leverage that enthusiasm that young people have, the love of space, and then we go out and do real, authentic, hands-on aerospace. So today I'm going to let the students share most of the heavy lifting on this talk, as we appreciate the chance to give them some practice to speak. Our current goal, I think I've proved that folks with stable families and middle-class kids can definitely build satellites. And so what we're trying to show is that these young students, I believe there's thousands of kids in South Florida that could build a satellite if they simply had a teacher that would show them how to do it and they had a few resources. So that's where we are at this phase in our companies. I have 2 LLCs. I am a full-time educator, but I have 2 LLCs, and our Wolfpack is a 501c3. We did that just so that we could raise monies for hardware with our tax-exempt organization. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to one of our very newest members, Shri. She's from Tampa, and she'll start us off. And again, thank you for having us here.
Hi, everyone. I'm Shri, and I recently joined Space Club. I'm a 7th grade student, and I live in Tampa, Florida. The approach of this program is very authentic and real world. Prior to joining the Wolfpack, we began in space clubs. There, we learn the basics of aerospace and are introduced to space biology, including ECLIS, Systems for Crewed Flight, astrobiology, and extremophile life forms. We are entering the Genes in Space competition this April. The Wolfpack primary focus is to design, build, test, and fly CubeSats before we go to college. We compete against universities for NASA launch opportunities, and we also conduct high-altitude balloons. We write, publish, and present our work at conferences across the US and around the world. The Wolfpack has been to China and Dubai, and we are presenting in Paris and Athens later this year. In Space Club, we are taught to employ the 21st century learning skills. Companies aren't just looking for cogs in a machine, but they're looking for what we know as smart creatives. Today, we have moved past the concept of what you know, and we've moved past what information you can find on the internet. Today, companies need strong communicators who collaborate well within their teams and who employ critical thinking and creativity to solve problems and even predict future issues and address them before they even happen. Now, Celine will share more with you about our history.
WCDT is made up of a group of students in a large range of ages that experience many real-world opportunities and are interested in learning about aerospace, the branch of STEM. The WCDT has gone through many generations of students that express an interest in engineering and are eager to learn. It started as an after-school club with students who are interested in launching and learning about CubeSats. In response to COVID-19, the team was forced to make their meetings online. Eventually, the team grew larger and expanded to many different counties and states. CubeSats are miniature satellites that conduct real-life missions. The WCDT has had 2 proposals selected by NASA's CubeSat launch initiative, the WISat-1 and CapSat, both of which will be explained in further detail later. The WISat-1 launched on December 3rd, 2018 and tested extremophile bacteria. The CapSat mission is to evaluate using capacitors in hopes of eventually replacing lithium-ion batteries. CapSat is still a work in progress with the goal to launch sometime in 2022. In November of 2021, the team submitted 3 additional proposals to NASA's CSLI with hopes of being accepted once again. Results are expected by March 22nd. These involvements allow students to work together, learn, and prepare, not just from a textbook, but participating in the real world. One way students learn about conducting CubeSat missions is through launching high-altitude balloons, or HABs. HABs help students to prepare for CubeSat launches by teaching them how to use checklists, proper procedures, and learning about the correct conditions for launches. It also allows students to uncover the necessary knowledge about telemetry and launch preparation, and gain many important life skills such as teamwork and collaboration. HAB hardware is quite similar to CubeSat technology, with the radio being made by Near Space Launch. We fly a 900 megahertz video feed that is connected to an antenna on the ground. This allows us to see exactly what the balloon is seeing. The radio is then connected to the global star network, which is made up of approximately 24 satellites at about 1,100 kilometers altitude. The data is passed around the global star network before it is finally transmitted down to a dashboard on Earth. We typically strive to launch one about 2 to 3 times per year, with our last being launched in November. Next, I will be talking about some of our accepted proposals.
Hello everyone, my name is Tyler Vardvestio and I'm in 6th grade, and it's a pleasure to be here with you all today. From 2016 to 2019, the Wolfpack built and operated the WISeSat-1 to go from zero spaceflight from zero to spaceflight required. We accomplished 6 specific types of tasks. First, Mr. Simmons wrote a proposal that was selected by NASA in the spring of 2017. This was the first CubeSat proposed by middle school students selected by NASA for launch. We developed the hardware with the help of vendors and engineers. Next, we had to certify our hardware to meet the precise specifications of our integrator launch provider, NASA and Federal Communications Commission. Then, we tested our spacecraft to make sure it wouldn't withstand the stress of launch and integrated our vehicle into the deployer. The deployer is a device which we will detach and eject our CubeSat into space from atop the second stage of the Falcon 9. Launch day was December 3rd, 2018. 4 hours and 39 minutes after launch, our satellite was deployed, and shortly thereafter, we received our first radio transmission. We continued to receive data until upon completion of our mission. We submitted our final report to NASA in early summer of 2020. The older students of the WCDT have taken their CubeSat knowledge to embark on an even larger mission, to design a CubeSat-based lunar rover for the moon. This rover, Amaris, is designed to investigate technologies to mitigate the levitating lunar dust which interferes with solar panel efficiency. Our second CubeSat selected by NASA in spring of 2019 is called CapSat-1. Its mission is to validate capacitor technology as the alternative to lithium-ion batteries in CubeSats. The CapSat-1 was the only K-12 entry in NASA's 10th CubeSat launch initiative round. Currently, it is scheduled to launch later this year. And now I would like to welcome Elliot to share a little bit more about some of the upcoming missions.
Hi, I'm Elliot. Our next mission to go to space is the FlipSat-1, which will be in flight by 2023. The FlipSat investigates the effects of radiation on computer boards in space, which sometimes causes a bit flip, or changes the signal in binary code. A 0 becomes a 1, or a 1 becomes a 0. The FlipSat has 2 primary missions. First, it will evaluate the effectiveness of hardening technologies by comparing 3 types of protection: error-correcting code, watchdog timers, and polyethylene shielding. Secondly, this hosted payload will establish spaceflight heritage for microbit processors. Microbits boards are especially designed for children to learn programming, and they are not designed to withstand the conditions of space. This is a hosted payload, and we will be flying as a member of the Troop hardware on the Sherpa ring. We are also partnering with a neuroscientist who writes children's books about characters who use microbits to solve their problems. In this collaboration, he will be writing a book that complements our mission. What's next for the Wolfpack? Well, every year the Wolfpack students prepare full proposals for NASA consideration. This fall, we submitted 3 proposals, and we should learn of NASA's selection results in the next 2 weeks. Out of 3 proposals, our 3 proposals are the WolfSat 1, WolfSat 4, and WolfSat 5. WolfSat 1 investigates the bacteria Ideonella sakaisis and its ability to decompose single-use plastic for both energy and carbon in microgravity versus 1G. Better recycling single-use plastic will address the pollution issue on Earth and support more long-term crewed space flights. WolfSat 4 considers the potential to use metal oxide coatings as protective shieldings against ionizing radiation. This has the potential to better protect electronics and crews. Finally, the WolfSat 5, or the RhizoSat 1, mission characterizes the viability of this agriculturally important bacteria. For humans to go deeper into space, we need to sustainably and reliably grow nutritious food. We will need rhizobacteria to grow some of those foods. One of the requirements of NASA's CSLI program is that the processors raise enough money to build their CubeSats. The WolfSat team has successfully raised enough money to cover the hardware and launch costs for one of its CubeSats and the hardware for the FlipSat 1 mission. Now Sebastian will share more about our programs.
Space Club is the starting point for the Wolfpack. It helps teach the fundamentals of space exploration and helps educate you for the Wolfpack. Members of the Space Club learn about topics like orbital mechanics and the upcoming Artemis missions, as well as designing their own missions to prep them for joining the Wolfpack. Space Club students are entering 2 competitions this spring. One team is entering in the Genes in Space contest, hoping to fly their experiment on the ISS. Another team is comparing seeds exposed to the radiation of space through the Plant the Moon challenge. Graduates of the Space Club are eligible to join the Wolfpack as soon as they graduate. Outreach is very important to the Wolfpack and STEM education because we know that young children as early as 5 to 7 years old can develop a STEM identity. To take advantage of this, the Wolfpack hosts outreach events at museums to help children learn about space exploration and how they can help to advance it. At these events, the Wolfpack lets kids learn with hands-on experiments. We also write books for students and educators, like this book, Let's Go to Space, which is written by a few of the Wolfpack members. Needless to say, outreach helps the next generation get started on their journey to space. Now Preston will share more about our program.
As a part of our ongoing work, the Wolfpack students attend various aerospace conferences to network with professionals and present technical papers. Being able to attend industry conferences presents us with many unique opportunities, such as the ability to practice our networking skills and get a better feel for what a career in aerospace would look like. As shown on the image, over the past 6 years, the Wolfpack team has attended over 38 conferences, with students presenting at 35 of those. Despite the COVID pandemic, due to the online format becoming more widely available, we have been able to present at more conferences than ever before. The 2021 to 2022 year has been expected to be one of the most active years, with us presenting at over 10 conferences and industry events. Among the notable conferences are such as the International Astronautical Congress, which was held in Dubai last year and will be held in Paris in October 2022, as well as the annual SmallSat Conference in Utah, which the Wolfpack students have been attending for over the past 4 years. This year to date, the Wolfpack students have already presented at the Hawaii International Conference on Education and the annual conference by the Florida Association for the Gifted.
Thank you, Preston. As you heard my students share the various satellites that we build, the places we go, the work that they do, I want you to see that it's not just enough to be technically competent in this world. One of the things that my colleague and I, who founded the Aerospace and Innovation Academy, we really believe in the techies and the talkies. So the super student of today is someone that can work in small groups, that really knows their job, but they're also a very articulate and passionate communicator. So we call that the techies and the talkies. So we have kids come to us. Sometimes they're just happy to present and write papers, and they're like a project manager type. Then we have other kids that want to turn the wrenches. They want to build the devices. They want to build the drones or the planes and whatnot. And it takes all types. And what's beautiful about aerospace and this era of the new space economy is there is a place for everyone in aerospace. So that's one of the, I think, good parts about our team. And as you also know, when you're the first person to do something, you don't get judged the same way as everyone else. So it's always nice to take something that's done with adults and definitely university students and bring it all the way down to, I actually have 10-year-olds that love being there and they do good work. So 10 to 16 is sort of the sweet spot where you can really impart some, I think, good habits and help these kids develop some good etiquette and learn how to interact as professionals. And that's what we do. So in fact, the treat, the carrot that I give them is if you write the papers and you get accepted at an adult conference somewhere, then we must go present there. So that's why we travel the world. I actually have one 10th grader who created a philanthropy, and its entire purpose is to help fund high school satellite teams in the country so they don't have to compete against universities teams. So our 2 satellites that have already been selected, we normally compete against universities. And if you know anything, Georgia Tech, Stanford, MIT, Caltech, there are a number of tremendous universities out there. And to have a vehicle where high school teams that want to go to space could get funded, it is we think is a very good thing as well. Plus, this young man wants to be involved with business and finance and things of that nature. So this is right down the lane, right down the middle for him. So here we are. You've heard about all the things these great, wonderful kids have done. They've all come to me because I just advertise, come if you want to do this work. But now we're at a stage where we're trying to broaden and identify kids that are in, they're underserved, they're in underrepresented groups, they're in disadvantaged communities. Their schools cannot help them get to space. No matter how brilliant they are, no matter how awesome the work they can do, they just simply can't get to space. So that's where we are now. And we're really hitting up some of the big corporations. We just, great short story. I had a little 12-year-old young lady in the airport in Dubai. We were coming back from a conference there. She's talking to this guy next to her, and all of a sudden we have a presentation with one of the directors at Amazon Web Services. And as we all know, Amazon has more money than Elvis. So we're hoping to help separate some of that money to help some of these kids in other neighborhoods. Here's one of my latest space clubs, and it's in a tough part of town here in West Palm Beach. And I'm really excited because these kids are fired up about going to space. So I am very much looking forward to enable and help them get to space as well. And they chose the mascot, the Tigers. Another cool thing the kids do is they come up with their own mascots, mottos, logos, things of that nature. They're still Wolfpack. We're all Wolfpack, but that was their mission patch they created. So I'm very happy for them as well. And so again, I shared about our goal to broaden and to reach more kids and to just scale up our operation. But this is really run by students. The students write the proposals, the students do the work, and we're just excited to be able to support them. So this is, we're continuing to grow every year, and I'm just appreciative of the time that you guys have given us. Thank you for letting my young people present. They can never get enough practice. And I don't know if there's any time, but we're glad to entertain any questions you might have. And Tom, thank you again for the invitation.
We have any questions?